All right, welcome to the latest edition of the SVG News Sponsor Spotlight. I'm Chief Editor Jason Dackman, and we're really excited to welcome Pixotope to Sports Video Group. Pixotope, if you haven't heard, is a really powerful tool, really powerful platform that's given some really eye-catching visuals at live sporting events, especially over the past year or two, as we've seen more and more use of AR, mixed reality, extended reality, real-time virtual graphics. And we are very lucky to have Sam Leadsom. He's VP of Global Business Development at Pixotope. He just started his new gig not too long ago in July. Sam, welcome. Thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Jason. Good to be with you.
Absolutely. So for those that aren't terribly familiar, can you just tell us a little bit about Pixotope, as well as some of those recent projects in the sports market I mentioned?
Yeah, Pixotope is a software that is a sort of a full custom version of the Unreal Engine. It's not a plugin, and so that means that it can leverage the vast depth and power of the Unreal Engine to deliver photorealistic renderings and visual effects in real time. It's a software that the customers who use it call robust and versatile, and it has a great visual fidelity.
Great. Okay. Yeah, and we've seen things everywhere from the Superbowl to everything else.
That's right. Just recently we were supporting SBS in Korea for the Olympics. We also looked after the Shanghai Media Group for the Euros 2020, and then CBS and Fox Sports have used it in the US.
Yeah, and we're seeing these types of tools again being used more and more as Unreal Engine is providing the power to live sports broadcasters that just wasn't really there before, and really is allowing entirely new levels of visuals to be part of sports broadcasts that weren't there before. So I'm curious from your end, especially since you just started at Pixotope, what technology trends do you feel are most shaping the sports production market right now?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think one of the key takeaways from 2020 and the pandemic has been the clear acceleration of the adoption of the sort of virtual production methods and the technologies. And oddly, it's not really just confined to media production either. You can see it at corporate events, you've seen it in communication and in the big sort of data visualizations as well. But as far as broadcasts are concerned, I think the proliferation of the remote production or at-home production has meant that broadcasters and content creators are beginning to adopt virtual production to bring the event and the location to the viewer, right, from their home studios, but also secondly, I think, to create a sort of a bridge to new media as they become a few more viable products in the future. I mean, from a business perspective, the financial benefits of remote production and the current restrictions on travel are clearly the main drivers behind that. But I think the photorealism and the visual effects are tools that are there and want to be used by broadcasters to attract back the younger audience.
Sure.
And I think that the broadcasters believe, or at least they hope, that by that combining that emotional impact of watching a live sport with the sort of interactive, the personalized, social, and the programmable aspects of online media will sort of support that and go a long way to achieving that.
Yeah.
Editorially, just finally, data and data-driven ideas will continue to advance the drive of sports production, and content needs to appear fresh. And virtual production and AR graphics can do that. But it also, I think, will be fascinating to see how they distribute that content to all the other multiple platforms that they now have. And in the current age, content's got to have a varying degree of interactivity about it as well. And that's where you are with mixed reality. You start going into the worlds and you start playing around with them. So virtual production's at the forefront of this, ambition, I think.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, look, the pandemic, put live sports producers in a tough spot where they had to adapt. But it's not like now that, fingers crossed, hopefully we're going in the right direction, things are just going to go back to how they were, right? Many of these things are here to stay. And now it's about what can I do? How can I engage that younger audience? How can I make content more dynamic, interactive, engaging? And like you said, virtual production and tools like Pixotope are going to play a big role in that. And you mentioned, I wonder what's coming, down the line in terms of how they're going to share on different platforms and things. I'm curious what is next for Pixotope. What's coming down the line for you guys? I know it's been a very busy couple of years. I'm sure it's going to be a very busy 2021 and 2022.
It is, and a lot of our partners really want to adopt this technology now, and we're starting to get a lot of phone calls. I mean, the big thing for Pixotope is the release of Pixotope 2.0, which is going to happen in the fall, and that has a number of new features that will be coming out, including enhanced APIs to simplify customer workflows, and that is what is helping us sort of bring in a number of significant sports related projects, which we should be able to talk about more towards the end of September and into Q4. But actually, the most exciting thing I think for us as a company is the arrival of Epic's Unreal Engine 5.
Yep.
and honestly, the guys in the development teams just cannot wait to get their hands on that and start integrating it with Pixotope 2.0. And we are really, really excited for that development in early 2022.
Well, again, it's been amazing to see how quickly Unreal has grown in the media and broadcast space, and especially for sports production. And you guys are providing the parameters and tools that allow producers to leverage the power of Unreal. And it's really some very cool technology. So please make sure to check out Pixotope. And Sam, thanks so much for taking the time. Really, really appreciate it. And welcome to SVG.
Thank you very much.